You're listening to the DFS On Deck podcast, brought to you by LineStar, the top-rated DFS tool set and #1 companion for DraftKings, FanDuel, and Yahoo Daily Fantasy. Go LineStar Premium now at LineStarApp.com. Now, here are your hosts, fantasy baseball experts Joe Pisapia and Chris Meaney.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? It's me, Joey P, Joe Pisapia, and welcome to On Deck right here on the LineStar app. It's me, and it's you, and it's Chris Meaney, and I know it's Thursday. We're not usually here, but there's games, so we are here for you because it's a full slate of games. We got day games, we got night games, we got all kinds of games. We got reindeer games, we got it all, and we're going to break them all down for you. We're coming off another pretty good night. And let me also say a 2-for-2 night with home run calls. Chris had to make a last minute change there with his. If you saw it online, he made it very clear. You got to follow Chris Meaney. And Chris, you nailed it with Mr. Brantley.
Follow the LineStar app on Twitter. Because, yeah, it was Jordan Alvarez. We did say to fade the weather, but it was Jordan Alvarez who was scratched from the games, dealing with something. But the theme was lefties against Felix Pena, so Michael Brantley took care of that in the first inning with a 3-run shot. So yeah, it's 2-for-2.
That's right.
It was a good day.
Because my pick went yard as well, which is easy because whenever it's
man,
how
good is Rafael Devers? Like, oh my goodness,
he's sick. Well, it's funny. You could literally go back in the baseball black book and read my write up on Devers, which is, why are we getting out on this guy so quickly? There are so many people just dropping like flies all over the place. Oh, this guy stinks, whatever. Everybody was falling all over themselves after the first stretch he had as a rookie. And then last year was a full season adjustment. And you know what? Great players come back and make adjustments, and he has. And he went yard yesterday. So Chris and I 2-for-2 with the home run calls and Mike Clevenger, 12 strikeouts and a W. How about that? I mean, that's pretty much what we talked about. We talked about Eduardo Rodriguez being a lock. He was a lock for a W, and he was. I mean, the only thing we weren't really on was Paddock. And it was really not because of Paddock. We like Paddock. We like the extra rest he was getting. It was just a matter of we like the Clevenger price more. And guess what? The Clevenger price was better when all is said and done. We also got Robbie Ray and the Diamondbacks with the 19 runs there. Oh, my goodness. How about those D-backs? Yikes.
Yeah, no kidding. Escobar, a couple home runs. The big takeaway for me, sure, Arizona, obviously a lot of runs there, but Texas again, another lefty. You mentioned Robbie Ray, but it's, the highest strikeout rate in baseball against left-handed pitching, and just looking at some of their averages against lefties too. Woba near the bottom, 25th, average 231 against lefties. It's just there's so many lefty bats in that lineup. I wonder if that's why they sent down Willie Calhoun, because he didn't really deserve to be demoted, in my opinion. I thought he should be in the lineup, but nonetheless, they need to get some right-handed bats in there. You mentioned Aaron Sanchez before he cut you off about Devers. So 10 straight losses for him now. No quality starts in any of them. The last player to do that, early win in 1942. And the tweet here from Stats by Stats, Win bounced back to win 18 games the following season and ended up in the Hall of Fame. Unbelievable stuff.
Yeah, that's not happening.
I don't think that's going to happen.
That is not happening.
Sanchez.
Listen, don't even start, you people. No Aaron Sanchez truthers out there. No way. Yeah. None of you guys.
And Devers has 25 RBI against the Blue Jays so far this season, which is pretty impressive.
Man, that is sweet. That is fantastic. No, we did get wrong. John Gray was not good yesterday.
He was not good.
I'll take the heat on that. He was not good. He had been brilliant at home. It was a smart play. I will stick by it. It didn't play. So what? What are you going to do?
We tested fate with the Giants is what happened.
Yeah, we did. And the Giants said, not today. Not today. And they put up 11 on the Rockies there. It's just madness what they're doing. But I thought it was a perfect spot to kind of go against the Giants.
Yeah, same.
Gray's ERA at home was so much better than on the road. He was striking more guys out at home. The whole thing, everything pointed to the right direction there. And it wasn't. But Homer Bailey was good. So perhaps it evened out a little bit for you with the Homer Bailey because we were on him. So overall, I would say I give us an A- yesterday. Not quite A+, not quite A. Little A- just because those one or two things, but still a pretty darn good day of a little On Deck. And by the way, if you love On Deck, make sure you're subscribing to the pre-snap on LineStar too. That show's coming soon. So go over to iTunes, Google, Stitcher, wherever you listen. Subscribe to the pre-snap so that way you start getting your football shows with me and Chris Meaney. That's starting in just a couple weeks because, my goodness, we're halfway through July already. Football's around the corner, so get ready. So, Chris, we got some day games as well as some evening games. So let's start, shall we? Are you ready to rock and roll this Thursday slate, my friend? First game here we have is Dinelson Lamet and Caleb Smith. That's at 12 o'clock. Then we've got Ross Stripling and Aaron Nola. Let's start with this one. because I know some people are really excited about Dinelson Lamet and the potential about Miami. It's tournament play, fine, whatever. But to me, it's all about Aaron Nola still and this run he's been on. And I just think he's going to have a monstrous second half. I think he's reminding everybody just how good he is. And now it's been about a month now of Aaron Nola being awesome. The Dodgers have been brilliant. And I think, you look at that price there at 10-4 over on DK. And then on the FanDuel side, look, to me, Aaron Nola, Chris, when I look at him and I see, I see the price, I see the opportunity, I see the fact that it's against the Dodgers and people get a little iffy. It's 10K on FanDuel. Well, it's the Dodgers. They've been red hot. They've been so good. I think Aaron Nola can get the job done. What do you think here?
I think it's one of those two, actually. When looking at this slate between the 4 games, I think you choose a side, Aaron Nola or Ross Stripling. I think that's the way I'm going to go. I mean, Lamet, it's amazing. He was 9K against the Braves, and now he's he's down to 8-something, 6-8 on FanDuel against the
Another
Marlins.
Huge variance, right? 6-8 on FanDuel. I mean, and if you want to make him the tournament arm, that's fine. But then again, like you're saying, Stripling's 7 on FanDuel, and he's got that offense behind him.
For sure. And I wasn't going to go there with Lamet. I just thought it was very interesting to see DraftKings price him so highly. You're right. Everyone wants him to. He's got high expectations because of his strikeout rate. He can hit 100 on the gun, like all of those things. But his command is still very, very spotty. So I just thought it was interesting that he was priced so highly against a Braves team and against the Padres, which is a better matchup. He's a little bit cheaper. Nonetheless, going back to that Phillies and Dodgers game, I'm with you on Nola. I think he's the contrarian play. I think he's the tournament arm. I feel decent about Ross Stripling as well. I was encouraged with his last start against the Red Sox, so I think he can go in there and get the job done too. I feel like this is a low-scoring game. One of those two.
You put them together? Yeah, we should put them together in a DK, which we've done this once or twice.
We have done this once or twice, yeah.
And I feel like both times we did it, we actually came out on the better for it. Both times. So it's very rarely we'll do this. It's on like a short slate, day slate, 1 o'clock, on a Sunday, do this, do that. Two guys from the same game. Because the other big dog here on the slate is Chris Sale at 10K against the Blue Jays, which should be an automatic lock. But you know what? He's been a little spotty himself lately. I feel safest about Aaron Nola. I really do. I always feel like good pitching still always wins out at the end of the day. No matter how good a lineup is, whatever it is, I'll still put always the money on the good pitching. So for me, it's Nola. I think it is one of those weird days where you go Nola Stripling. I think you're onto something there because the rest of it's Keller and Detweiler and
no thanks.
Caleb Smith.
Chance.
No, I don't feel it, man. Thomas Pannone, you're not going to go Oppo against Chris Sale. That's just crazy. So when you're looking for offense in the day slate, what pops to you right away?
Yeah, that Boston, Toronto, like even the Jays. You're right about Sale. I mean, the Jays they've scored 13 runs in 3 outings against Chris Sale, and that's just not 3 flukes. That's a team that is seeing him well, and they're generating walks. I mean, every single outing, 2 of the 3 outings, they've had at least 2 walks, and Sale's not even really getting any strikeouts. 3 strikeouts in 1 outing against the Jays, 5 in his last one just 2 starts ago over 5 innings. He allowed 5 runs and 9 hits. So we talked about Gurriel against lefties. What I say, I love him again. I love him against lefties. He went yard yesterday. I like him on FanDuel as a tournament arm. Just try to be a little bit different on a 4-game slate. And going over to probably Chicago and Kansas City, your boy Whit Merrifield, again, got on base a couple times, stole a base. I think there'll be some runs there. Smith is interesting, though. I think he could strike some guys out and some Padres, but that price tag at 9.2 it's a bit much, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it is. I'll tell you what, too, one thing to note in these games, too, AJ Reed, who got picked up after he got jettisoned from the Astros organization, he got called up right away after the All-Star break, and he's playing over with the White Sox. And he hit a home run last night, and, it was after they DFA'd Yonder Alonso and all that stuff. So over on the FanDuel side, AJ Reed, 2.1, cheap power potentially against Brad Keller. Just throwing that out there. All right, let's get into the evening where we got Charlie Morton at 11K against Chad Green, who's going to open up that one. You got Matt Boyd, 9.8, Trevor Bauer going head-to-head. It's always funny, all these Matt Boyd games where we always get him going head-to-head against some big Cleveland Indians pitcher. I feel like that's all we talk about this year.
I know.
Like right? It's like Matt Boyd, but it's against Trevor Bauer, or if it's against Mike Clevenger or Bieber. Just like, it's just frustrating.
It's true. It feels like it's been a good 5 starts in a row. I have to fact check that, but you're probably right. Yeah.
Oh, listen, I feel good about Charlie Morton anywhere this year. I mean, he's 11K, though. That's my problem. 11K on the road against the Yankees. He's actually cheaper on DK. He's 10-2. So I like him a little bit more. What do you think about Morton here on this with the price on the road against the Yankees?
I think a tournament arm for sure. We've been talking about him as the cash game lock. Every time he pitches, he's the cash game lock. We give him all kinds of love.
Even
we
in
want to
spots
spend up
where we
for him.
like, no, we can't possibly, and then he's still great. He's just
He's
every
so
time.
impressive. He's so impressive. What another steal in redraft. He just played the Yankees 2 outings ago and he struck out 10. Like, he's just that good. So I have nothing bad to say about him. I would shy away from Yankee bats. I wouldn't even try to be too cute and be contrarian. I don't want anything to do with him, and I'd roll out Morton for sure. But I do like Trevor Bauer against Detroit for sure. I think there's some definitely strikeout upside there for him.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, when you're looking at things too, going over to the Cardinals, we've talked at length about Dakota Hudson.
Yeah, you see that
and
price?
him recently, and we've been really right. And he's 8 on FanDuel, but ladies and gentlemen, on DK, he's 5'8". You can get anything you want. You could be the fat kid in the candy score with Dakota Hudson today. And I understand it's against the Reds and it's in Cincinnati. It's a tricky ballpark, blah, 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 whatever. Dakota Hudson's been a pretty good pitcher very quietly, and it doesn't matter at that price. It's the right price. You take a shot on DK as a secondary arm. You can pair him with Bauer. You can get all the bats you want. You can pair him with Charlie Morton, get all the bats you want. It doesn't matter. It's just brilliant. I mean, it's the way to go. I'm going to do it. You should do it. Just do it.
That's the play.
Don't overthink it.
No, absolutely. That's the play. I was waiting for you to get to that. When first thing I saw the DraftKings when I was looking at the pricings on DraftKings was Dakota Hudson.
It's like a double take.
Wow. So it's whatever you want to do. You want to go him and Bauer. You want to go him and Morton. You want to go Oppo real contrarian, go him and Boyd. Go for it. We'll get to another matchup a little bit later on that you can do as well. And listening to WRP, of course, I'm producing that podcast at the Athletic Cincinnati. Recorded it on Wednesday evening. They don't expect Dietrich or Senzel to play. They're down to their third string catcher in Gratterall. So there's a lot of holes in their lineup. We know Iglesias is not a good bat. Votto's not having a good season either. So I like the matchup. I think that 5.3 team implied total when we see Cincinnati's lineup will drop significantly to about 4.6, 4.7. And I mean, then St. Louis will be favorites. They're road dogs right now.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. All right. So the Trevor Bauer Boyd thing, just to put that one to bed too, going back to that game. I'm going with the Bauer side. You're going with the Bauer side too. Yes?
I am.
No?
Yeah, I
am.
Yeah.
All right. So we just want to make sure we're all on the same page there with everything. And I'm looking at this one, and I don't know if it's going to offense is not really what I'm looking for out of this game.
I mean, the Cleveland Detroit.
No, and you mentioned about Boyd giving up home runs too and all that. So there's that little bit of me that kind of wants to, throw some of those guys out there, but I don't love the guys from the right-handed side in this line. It's a big switch-hitting lineup between Lindor, Santana, and Ramirez, but I like all those guys from the left side more. So that's why I kind of just fade away from that from offense. Just look for Bauer to get out of there. All right, Steven Strasburg, the other guy there against Julio Teheran and the Atlanta Braves. I'm fine with this too. If you're saying, you know what, Morton's too much for me against the Yankees, if you think Bauer's too chalky tonight, Strasburg probably is a little less. It's a little more intimidating because it's the Braves, and the Braves have been a very good team this year as well. How do you look at Strasburg tonight in this matchup? Because he's 10-5 on DK, 10-6 on FanDuel, so basically the same price. Do you like him supported by another pitcher? Do you like him as a standalone pitcher on FanDuel? What's the approach?
I think I'll just fade him. I think I'll just
fade
go
them together. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to go up top to those guys we've already chatted about, and then we could talk about the Mets and Giants now, or we can save it. I mean, Mad Bum and Noah Syndergaard, I think there's kind of more appeal there. I'm actually interested in Syndergaard, and I want to get your thoughts on it. Giants have been just so hot. It's a tough matchup against
You're going to hate this. I'm going on the complete other way.
You're going to go the other way with Bum?
The Giants are a juggernaut, and I'm gonna go. Like, I know Syndergaard was better in his last outing, and we've been kind of on him about that. But dude, I'm telling you, at this point in the game, Bumgarner in that building is very tough. And then on top of that, the way that this offense has been playing, I don't know, man.
Yeah, they've been really hot. Yeah.
I usually run away from this kind of game. It's a coin flip, and I go, no, I don't. I actually feel much better about this game than normal, and I feel pretty good about Madison Bumgarner, and I feel really good about these guys too, because you look continuously at this lineup, and they just keep putting up runs. Now, I know this last group was in Colorado, so you could take that with a grain of salt, but I don't know how much salt you want to take, because they've been doing it.
Yeah, they have been.
Other places too.
I know.
Now, most recently it's been in Milwaukee and Colorado. Now, they were putting up runs before that.
Yeah.
But do you think that it's been sustained a little bit longer because of the ballparks and some of the pitching matches they've gotten? I think so. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, they've.
But then again, that
it's been
breeds
a good 3
confidence
weeks
to a certain extent.
Yeah, I really wanted to get your thought because I know you're a Bumgarner guy, and I know you've been watching Syndergaard, and I know you saw his last start, which was good. So I think I was just trying to be a little bit contrarian tournament wise going against the Giants, but we'd be silly to ignore their bats, right? I mean, they've just been so hot. So even that 3.5 team implied total, if you're a prop player, it's probably going to be like 3. I would take that. You could take the over and take that risk, but I think I have some appeal with Syndergaard, honestly, in a tournament. I'm going to have a share. There's just something there. I feel like he'll be really low totally owned tonight. Yeah.
It's totally fair, and he's there now. I'll tell you what, we can go back to the well on Mike Fiers again against the Twins. I keep saying it. Twins are not quite the Twins without the straw that stirs the drink over there, and he ain't in the lineup. And when he's not in the lineup, it's just when Rosario's not there, it's just a different team. It just is. And Mike Fiers, automatic Mike Fiers until otherwise. And the price hasn't changed. 8.4. It's exactly where you want him on FanDuel. He's 8.4. He's right in the middle. And he's just 7. So if you are totally afraid of the Dakota Hudson, it's Mike Fiers. It's one of the it's Morton and Fiers, or it's Bauer and Fiers. And you can still go get all the offense you want. And I think some of that offense, I want Matt Olson. I want,
you should.
Matt Chapman. I want those guys. He had 2 home runs for who was it there? It was Profar, went yard twice yesterday. I mean, you're just getting this Oakland A team that just doesn't seem to get any respect.
No respect. Give me and they're only a handful of games behind Houston.
I know.
They're
it's
right
madness.
there. I like Canada too. If he gets in the lineup, I mean, he was hitting the cleanup spot. What they did yesterday was move Davis, I think, to the 5. And then actually he was into the 6th spot, and then they had Canna after Olsen. He had 2 bombs. So, I mean, they have a lot of scrappy batters. They're right there with the Angels in the bottom in terms of they just don't strike out. This is like all of those guys can put together pretty strong at bats. So I like all of them. You know that. And Davis is eventually going to come out of it. I was listening to the Oakland A's broadcast on the way up to Hockey Wednesday. They're talking about a couple changes in his swing, and they feel like he's close. And at that price, this is the time to be on him. Like, people are asking me in seasonal format, should I drop Chris Davis? Like, that's what people are thinking. Like, how do I get rid of Davis? I don't want anything to do with money-wise. Play him now when everybody is out. 3.5 is a really, really nice price for him. It's coming.
We've been on it. We've been on it for a week.
Coming.
It's 3-1 on FanDuel. Like,
wow,
it's just
3-1.
Just keep getting him in there. Just keep doing it. I know it hasn't paid yet. It's going to, and it's going to pay in a big way. And it's not killing you because it's only 3-1.
Yeah, it's almost like a punt play. That's it. Yeah,
it is. It's a very responsible punt. We like to talk about punting responsibly, and I think that's the way we want to go. Now, we got to find some more offense, and I think we're going to find it against Matt Harvey. I know Matt Harvey had a very emotional outing last time. I'm going to just chalk that up to the emotional evening. I'm not chalking it up to Matt Harvey finding himself again at all, which gives me all the Jordan Alvarez, Michael Brantleys of the world. Still give me Altuve hitting, where he is. He's still 3.9 on FanDuel, so no 4 for him tonight. He's up to 4.2 on DK side, though, but Brantley's 4.5. I think that's a great bargain for Brantley against Matt Harvey. So there's a couple spots there. I'm definitely going to take some of those Astros bats against the Angels.
Agreed. Yeah, 11 runs through their first 5 innings Wednesday evening. So they're feeling it. Harvey is, he's going to have a rough go.
Yeah, we talked about Jake Lamb on the program yesterday, too. He got involved in that. Day. A good day. A couple hits there. Again, 2.6 on FanDuel. Another cheap guy there. How do you approach Milwaukee on the road here, Zach Davies against Merrill Kelly? You want some pieces here of this Milwaukee lineup on the road?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. That was a great finish between the Brewers and the Braves. That's I think a matchup we're going to see, in the future. Maybe a playoff matchup. It was a good one. I mean, the bases were loaded with Hader on the hill, and he got out of it. It was a good finish. But I do expect some runs to be scored in this game with Kelly and Davies on the hill. I think that there's going to be some regression for sure in Davies' game, but Kelly has been he's hit or miss. Like 86 strikeouts in 110 innings, but he's had some outings this season where he's had double-digit strikeouts, and a strong showing against the Red Sox was a little bit surprising. He can fool you, but I want to attack him. He's got a high fly ball rate in Arizona, so I'm going to look for some runs here in this game, both sides of it. And I think here is a guy we've been talking. He's up to 5 now.
That's where I was going. I'm like,
Yeah,
he's the
up to
best
5
ROI
now.
out there.
He was hitting cleanup Wednesday night.
Yeah.
I know Moustakas wasn't playing, but that's how they feel about him. He deserves to be higher up in that lineup. So
yeah. And he continues to be a great value at 3.6 over on FanDuel. Just terrific there. Not so much on DK. He's 5. No. He's 5K. So again, it's just so drastic, and you've really got to pay attention because, like we always say on the program, what works on one side, our approach on one is not our approach on the other. When you're looking at DK offense wise, I mean, it goes back to that same thing where the A's continue to be cheap.
Yeah, they do.
They're continue to be something that's in there. You continue to get some pieces of the Houston lineup that are cheap enough. Obviously, the San Francisco Giants still cheaper by comparison for sure, especially on a night like tonight where you got guys like Fires, you got guys like Dakota Hudson. You can go up on some of these, and I think you should. I think you should make sure that you use one of those cheap secondary pitchers because you're going to need some offense tonight there to separate you because there's so many good pitchers out there that even some of these games where you have Boyd and Bauer going against each other, you have Strasburg on the mound. Like, I don't expect Strasburg to give up 5 runs or anything like that. So even if we're not loving him DFS wise, I don't expect him to be a bad start from Strasburg. And I think that's the thing where you're looking at tonight, Chris, is, hey, make sure you get the pitching right and make sure it's enough where you can separate yourself from the offense, because I think offense is going to be a little sparse tonight.
Yeah, so looking at just some bats, obviously, you mentioned Oakland, and then Houston's going to be pretty chalky, and they're expensive, and we talked about Arizona, Milwaukee, good spots there, but maybe St. Louis, there's some cheap bats in there. I mean, pretty interesting. I know there's some struggling guys, but Tanner Roark he's nothing special. He's given up 10 bombs to lefties, 410 WOBA, 320 average, 567 slugging percentage. Maybe Colton Wong has a cheap little flyer there on DK. He's 3.6. Maybe Jose Martinez, gets back into the lineup. We've been talking about Goldschmidt. He's got 5 homers in the past 10 days. So, I mean, he's hitting the ball a little bit better. So there's a couple guys that are decently priced that you can get in there to help you out.
Yeah, and it's funny because last week we were all over Goldschmidt, and you know what? The price hasn't moved that much on FanDuel.
No, it really hasn't.
You're still getting a huge value on Goldschmidt. I love that call, especially in that ballpark. Very hitter friendly, which brings us to the next part of the show, which is the wagering. So, Chris, what are you looking for in terms of money lines and whatnot tonight to put your money where your mouth is?
All right, let's start up at the top. I like the under with the Phillies and the Dodgers. I think this is going to be a pitching duel between Stripling and Nola. I'm going to take a shot on San Diego on the road. They got decent odds as of right now with Lamet on the hill. Red Sox, I guess I'm going to go the over in that game, even with Chris Sale, because, as I said, the Jays have just had some success.
That's a sneaky one. I like that one. I think you're right. I think that's a very sneaky one. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Red Sox should be able to obviously, put up a few themselves, do their part. I like the under in the Tampa and the Yankees game with Charlie Morton on the hill, like the under with Bauer and Boyd on the hill. I'm going to take St. Louis. We're all in on Hudson and St. Louis right now as road dogs. As I said, they could be favorites. Keep an eye, because I don't think there's going to be 2 or 3 guys missing from that Reds lineup when it gets released. So those odds will change. Jump on it now. Oakland on the upset against Minnesota, Astros, and then the under in San Fran between Syndergaard and Bumgarner. That's going to be a good matchup.
Yeah, it's going to be fun for sure. We're separate on that one. I can't wait to see what happens the next one. So
I know we're usually right on the same page, like everything.
Yeah,
so
it's fun. It's fun when we're on the opposite end. It does not happen often.
No, it doesn't.
So I can't wait to see what happens on Friday's show when we have to revisit and see, because one of us, I feel like we're both going to be wrong.
It's big blowout.
They both suck and a big blowout. Everyone's like,
the Mets
12
just
runs
put up 14 runs, and the Giants are scoring left, right, and center with just an average lineup. It's unbelievable. They just passed the Rockies in the standings.
It's fascinating. All right, let's call our shot here. It's that time where we like to call going yard, and we're going to pick our guy to just do that. And mine today is Matt Olson. I like the lefty against Kyle Gibson. Matt Olson has light tower power. I love that about him. I always like his price as well. He's just 3.8 on FanDuel. Again, really reasonable for what he offers in skill set wise. Again, more expensive on the DK side, but I really like him to go yard tonight. And reasonable, because sometimes he goes over the 5 mark too on DK. He's only 4.7 tonight. So give me Matt Olson against Gibson, and you're going to give me a home run. Chris, who are you calling your shot with?
Does it count if you pick on Matt Harvey?
It counts. Absolutely. Pick on Matt Harvey all you want. I'm a Met fan. Please pick on him, please, for the love of God.
George Springer. George Springer is my guy. Good. I know he's very expensive, 5.5, but hey, if you get Hudson in there, I think the way to go is Houston tonight, especially in cash. Find a way to get these guys in your lineup.
Maybe you get 2 from George Springer because he's so expensive. He can at least give you 2.
Yeah,
George,
absolutely.
if you're listening, give Chris Meaney 2. That's all we want. And look, we were 2 for 2 yesterday, so let's keep the streak alive. We're crushing it here, and our boy Nitro DFS is as well. We had a little drought there for 3 days where we didn't get a home run call, and then we're back on track the last couple. So it didn't last very long. It was a mini slump, Chris. It was a mini slump, very tiny.
Yeah, very tiny. Hopefully, they just keep staying very, very tiny.
Yes. Hopefully they do. But look, we've had a pretty strong season calling these home runs, almost so much that we were surprised ourselves. Like sometimes we sat back and were like, I can't believe. And then Dan over at LineStar started keeping tally of everything. And then when we saw the numbers, we actually were kind of shocked of how good it's been. And we want to just roll that over into NFL, man. Same stuff, same approach. We're talking about games. We're talking about not just the stats, but more than that, more of the trends, more of the streaks, everything else that's going on. And we were pretty good with NFL last year too. We're going to roll that over again. Go subscribe to the pre-snap over on iTunes, everywhere you listen to podcasts. Get ready because that show is coming back in just a few weeks. And in the meantime, follow us on LineStar App on Twitter and at Joe Pisapia 17 at Chris Meaney and LineStar MLB. That'll do it for us. There's only one thing left to do, and that's step out of the on-deck circle and into the batter's box and go yard. We'll see you next time, kids.
You've been listening to the DFS On Deck podcast, brought to you by LineStar. Hit subscribe, tell a friend, and stay tuned for the next episode from fantasy baseball experts Joe Pisapia and Chris Meaney.